out there in YouTube land. And a special hello to everybody out there in BitChute land. And welcome to DC Fans United. So, I haven't done a video like this in a long time. I generally, make my videos on the computer, but sometimes I like to get out. I find the lighting is better outside. And take a look at an actual physical comic book. So, this is an astonishingly good book. I don't know. I'm really kind of nostalgic for the olden days, kind of the golden age. Honestly, I've been reading a lot of Bronze Age, but this is definitely hearkening back to the golden age. Even though it has Shazam on the title, Convergence Shazam #1, they actually call him Captain Marvel throughout. And you'll find that this issue is very much like the old school Fawcett comics, although it does have references to the 1970s, which you see here actually, 1970s DC. So this is actually from the cover of the first issue, Shazam #1. So that's when Shazam, well, when he became Shazam, when Captain Marvel was brought into DC. Anyways, there's always so much to explain with Convergence. Basically, in Convergence, the dome comes down over each city, and it knocks the superpowers out. So you see Billy here, and he says Shazam, and nothing happens. Well, that's because the dome is over his city, Fawcett City. So then we see everything and everybody who worked on it. So the big thing for me is Doc Shaner's the artist, who is just kind of the perfect artist for this sort of thing. His style is really great for the Golden Age. And you've probably, if you've read the Terrifics, some of the later issues, after Ivan Reis was off it, Doc Shaner does the art on that. And anyways, he's a really great artist. I like his style. And the writing's by Jeff Parker, who I'm not as familiar with. And then, let's see, Jordi Belair did the colors, and the letters are by Sadie. I don't even know. The printing's all offset. Somebody, though, did the lettering. Sorry. So anyways, and, the coloring is really good. I do like that they got a for real colorist. Like, they helped out Doc Shaner. And the letters, it's really hard to read, honestly. It says, Sadie Tem Fonte. Oh, that's what it is. All right. Oh, and the cover was by Shaner, of course. So, this is just like a trip down memory lane, honestly. So the people are upset, though, because they're wondering where Captain Marvel is. And it's really, they call him Captain Marvel. So I'm not sure how they are able to do that or how that all works, but that's what they call him in this issue, and I thought that was kind of cool. But it's really interesting what they bring up, how it sucks he's gone again. Captain Marvel's been gone for the year, because he references the time period between, when there was the Fawcett comics and then he came to DC. There was like a 20-year gap. And that's actually explained on this page and also explained in Shazam #1 from DC, what happened during that time. So I actually like how they explain it. Old Dr. Sivano is up to no good, and he managed to freeze the Shazam family in a kind of a cryostasis. But he accidentally froze himself and all the other characters. So that's kind of how they explain it. But these guys are mad because Shazam, Captain Marvel Shazam, was just gone for that long time period. And he's just back, and now it's Convergence, and he's gone again. And Billy's trying to explain everything. So, I won't explain the whole issue, but this first part's kind of important. And I found it to be really cool. I don't know, I'm not even that old, but I'm all nostalgic for when comics were simpler and better. I'm just going to say better because that's how I feel. But anyway, the dude's really upset, and he's going to blow himself up. And it's just like, dude, come on. But Bullet Man and Bullet Girl, who are also characters in the Fawcett universe, nice little cameo, show up, and they take him away. And they just, toss him in the air, and he blows up. It's like, really? Okay. It takes care of him, I guess. So then the main plot here is Dudley, their uncle, Uncle Dudley, is acting funny, so they're investigating him. And this is some kind of golden age goodness where you have the kids, because they're still kids. It's Mary and, Billy, and that's what they're doing. They're following him. They're like, why are they acting so weird? He hasn't been acting like himself. So that was kind of cool, too, because they used to do stuff like that. I got to go back. But even like this stuff, like him having his radio show, and that's why he's talking to them because that's his radio show. Well, not his, but he was on the radio. Uh, that was his deal. So that's a cool thing. They're referencing so much. There's tons of things that I'm sure I'm not even getting, but if you really like Captain Marvel or even Mary Marvel, you'll be like, oh, I get that, or I remember what that's from. So the writer, I think, did a really great job. And I like reviewing these Convergence books because they get overlooked a lot. It just kind of got a bad rap. It was at the end of New 52, and everyone was just like, ugh, give me Flashpoint. So anyways, they're following, and, they're led to this place, and then Mr. Atom grabs them. So there's another appearance. You're like, all right, Mr. Atom. It's a really famous villain. The funny thing, too, is it's spelled Mr. Atom, like M-R, but then for Mr. Mind, also in this, same universe, it's spelled out like M-I-S-T-E-R, Mind. So, gosh, I should probably skip a couple pages. Basically, Mr. Atom takes them to their lair, and there's more villains that are there. And so the big reveal, though, I skipped a couple pages. Because this issue, I actually recommend checking it out. There's this first issue and then issue 2. So anyways, the big reveal is Uncle Dudley. Yes, he was acting weird. And then it turns out it was actually Dr. Savannah in disguise. So that's why. And you're like, oh, okay. So I'll skip a tiny bit more. And then they all start fighting. So we've got the bad guys that are there with them. Dr. Savannah. Taki Tanian's showing up, and he doesn't take guff from nobody and throws him into the wall. Then we get an ad for iZombie, and yeah, it's just some good action. And it's a lot of characters and very comic booky. The kids have gotten free, and they're trying to they're taking part actually. They still don't have their powers at this point, but what happens is Ibax says his name, which is how his powers come on and come off. It's the same as... sorry, I had my finger on this part. Anyways, his powers work the same as Shazam's, so if he says his name, they either activate or unactivate, and that tells them that the dome is down. And if he says his name, he gets his powers. So I do love this page. You may have actually seen this. It's just some great Doc Shaner art. Make a great poster or, T-shirt or something. But yep, Shazam. He's changing. I love Fury Road. It's a great movie. I'd watch it again. I might watch it again soon. So yeah, and he's Shazam. So he transforms. The very next scene, he's flying at him. So gotta love it. That really changes things, of course, but it's still a fight between super-powered beings. So it's quite exciting, but I was actually a little kind of surprised by this part because they actually get Dr. Savannah with these chains and like tie him up, but got it around his neck and everything. I was just like, whoa, that's hardcore. But yeah, just pretty much more action. And then honestly, that's basically how it ends. It's just they're fighting for a few pages, and then there's the big thing. Okay. What happened is there's a bunch of explosions, and they're like, what? Where's this coming from? And it looks like it crushes Dr. Savannah. I highly doubt it really did. But they're like, what caused this? Why is there all these bombs? And they go outside, and they're being bombed by the blimps. So I'd forgotten up until now, but it's the Shazam universe versus Gotham City Gaslight universe. So all this time, Shazam's characters have been fighting amongst themselves within Fawcett City, but as soon as the dome was lowered, I gotta get to the right page. Old Batman, I presume, we'll find out next time, showed up with these bad boys, these blimps, and starts bombing Fawcett City. So in the next issue, which I'll review next time, and it's in a bag, so it's harder to see. It's all shiny, but you see Batman there, looming. So it's going to be interesting if they have to fight. We got technology versus superpowers. But anyways, that's it. But there is a little bonus at the end. A little sketchbook stuff he did. It's really great. And then I do love, too, on all of these Convergence tie-ins, they have more backstory at the very end, and they reference the actual issues. So if you aren't familiar with a lot of this stuff, they fill it in for you. So that's really helpful. And that's it. That's issue 1. So honestly, I love these things. I've reviewed, I don't know, a bunch. So I'll put this in my playlist of Convergence tie-ins. I've reviewed quite a few. This is honestly one of my favorites. I just hadn't gotten around to it yet. I love that old school stuff. And, it's kind of an interesting premise with Convergence, how all these cities had to fight each other from all over the DC universe. It was a very DC event. I just think it came out maybe at the wrong time. It was right at the end of New 52. Like, was this 2015? So, yeah. People were a little burnt out with this whole just anything. They were like, we want rebirth or something. But anyways, that's just my opinion, how I feel about it. I think you should read this if you haven't. If you like Captain Marvel, especially the old school stuff. And I guess that's it. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. Be sure to hit the bell for notifications. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't. And as always, thank you for watching and being a part of DC Fans United.